Well, good morning. We're going to get started. We have a special speaker today, so it's not necessarily going to be me entertaining you, but Kelly's going to introduce our speaker in a minute. But Michael just wanted me to give a quick announcement about voting. We will not be running transportation for early voting, but we will be running regular transportation starting at noon. At noon, as it's been in the past. Election day. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Okay. Just wanted to get that out there first. Couple of quick updates. Our dining project is going very well. Those of you who have been peeking in the windows, they're getting real busy. We may have one delay, and that is the special chairs, the new chairs that we ordered. The fabric's been back ordered. We may be activating before Easter the new dining hall with our old chairs. But I think that'll be okay. But it's going very, very well. Our cell phone project. There was a rumor that AT&T's disruption was caused by Butterfield Trail Village because we were putting all these repeaters up. Well, that's not true. Not true at all. But I thought it was a good rumor. And that's, by the way, scheduled for the second week of April to be activated. Healthcare, we're well down the road. We did our final punch list. I expect about the third week of March for our open house, and all of you all will be invited, as well as Carriage Club. We'll have a special recognition at the open house for some money that was donated to the foundation. So you'll hear more about that over the next week or so. The last thing I have is, well, actually two things. One, I think a memo went out about putting your trash in trash bags. I think you heard me talk about this at the forum on Monday night. That's real important for our employees, and particularly medical waste. We need to have that bagged always. And syringes, things like that, you can bring down to healthcare, and we'll appropriately dispose of those. So please help us with that. The search committee. Anybody have a question about the search committee? Yeah, okay. Well, we couldn't hide the three candidates that were here on last Thursday. It was really good sessions with each one of them. The board and the search committee have taken all the recommendations for the groups that were involved in interviewing, and we're in the negotiation process. Next Wednesday night is the board meeting, and I suspect that there'll be an offer and a final arrangement, if you will, and I'll have more to announce at the end of next week. So it's going well. So I'm going to introduce Kelly, who's going to introduce our speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. So before I introduce our speaker, and will obviously be the best part of the program, I do have a couple of announcements. First of all, from everyone's absolute favorite programs and events director, Ricky Stamps, she wanted me to share with you that they are having a blast in Costa Rica. The female sloths are all taking care of their babies. The waterfalls are spectacular. And 10 people went ziplining through the canopy forest yesterday. So, and as far as we know, they all survived it and will all be coming back. And today they are headed out to visit a nature preserve to see wild cats and monkeys. So they're having a wonderful time. I know I posted one measly little picture on Facebook, and I said, y'all need to tell me, do you want more pictures? And I'm getting comments that you do want more pictures. So I've been promised that more are coming, and hopefully they will have people in them. And those will be up on Facebook later today if I get them received in time. So be watching for that. Also, Ricky wanted me to mention that we have something special coming up in March. On Friday the 8th, we will be celebrating Butterfield's 38th anniversary or birthday, whichever you want to say. Butterfield, of course, is very unique because of the initiative that led its creation. We're pretty special in the way that we were founded. And you may not realize this, but a long-range planning committee that eventually led to the first concept of the village was formed in 1977. So we have a long history. And then it took some really broad-based community support involvement that started around 1981. That was a financial commitment from a number of people in the Fayetteville community that made this possible. So that led the first movement toward our incorporation. And then, of course, our first building construction began in 1984, and the rest is history. So we're going to be celebrating all of that. Ricky has some staff members and some residents lined up to share their memories, and then we'll talk about our dreams for the future. So it should be a really good time. That will be on Friday the 8th. It'll be here in the Performance Hall. It'll be at 2 o'clock. So don't miss that, and come and learn more about this wonderful place we call home. Now, the best part. I am very happy to introduce Miss Sarah Gaskin. She is with the Botanical Gardens of the Ozarks, and she is their volunteer coordinator. And we're really tickled to have her here today because how many of you all are gardeners or appreciate gardening? I know we have a bunch. And so that's really exciting because when you think about the proximity of the gardens to our community, we are so lucky to have that resource so nearby. And so it is a natural fit for Butterfield to have a close relationship with the botanical gardens. So to help us kind of get that rolling for the spring coming up and into the rest of 2024, very pleased to introduce Sarah. So she's going to come up. She's going to actually share a few slides with us. So that's why you see the screen down today, and talk about ways that you can get involved. So Sarah, come on up.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Kelly. Oh, there go the lights. As she said, my name is Sarah Gaskin. I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. And flowers are starting to bloom, and it's time to get back outside. I know everyone is ready. And so we are looking for volunteers to help in a variety of areas, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the different ways that you could get involved as a volunteer at the Botanical Garden and how to do that, and answer any questions that you might have. I do have some slides. I apologize. It's a little bit hard to read. The formatting didn't quite transfer when we put it on a thumb drive, but just look at the pretty pictures and you'll get all the information you need from me. So, this is a picture of our butterfly house. Many of you might be familiar with the Botanical Gardens, but we were started by volunteers back in 1994. They had a dream to start a garden in Northwest Arkansas. And it wasn't until does anyone know what year the garden opened? Any guesses? Started with a dream in 1994, but it wasn't until 2007 that the garden actually opened. Okay, I'm gonna skip some of these just for time's sake. I'm going to go back. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that we have a real community of volunteers at the Botanical Garden. So if you are a volunteer, you're part of our family, and we treat you as such. People make friendships at the garden. It's a real community feel, which I feel like Butterfield Trail, you're here for the community. So if you want to extend that community feel, the Botanical Garden is a great place to volunteer to do so. Okay. In order to volunteer, to sign up as a volunteer, we are now online. We are tech savvy, and so we have an online volunteer application that you will fill out, and that's how we can communicate, and that's how you can let us know which areas you're interested in so that we can communicate when those opportunities are available. And some of our volunteers have been a little intimidated to get online and to sign up for volunteer shifts online. We even have an app. But once they get started, they're like, oh, this is actually really easy. And it was just that initial fear of getting started with a new software that kind of intimidated them. But getting started was the hardest part. And then they're like, oh, okay, this is easy. I can do this. So I just want you to be aware that It's not hard. Okay. So now I'm going to mention some of the areas that you can get involved in at the Botanical Garden as a volunteer. We have an opportunity in our admissions office. And so this is an indoor volunteer opportunity. Not everyone wants to be outside all the time or working in the garden. So these are our friendly faces that welcome everyone to the garden. They answer questions about the garden. They help take garden admission. They answer questions about membership or help people sign up for a membership. So there is a little bit of computer use with this, but training is provided, no experience necessary, just a willingness and a friendly face to make a good first impression to everyone that visits the garden. That is our office coordinator, Jean, and you would be working closely with her, and she's super great and very friendly. Next, we have actually working out in the garden. We have opportunities on Tuesday, it's usually Tuesday and Thursday mornings, to work in the garden under our director of horticulture. Again, no experience is necessary, but if you like to be outside, if you like plant therapy and digging in the garden, this might be a good opportunity for you to get out there. And we have opportunities, except really in the winter, unless you want to come out in the cold. Right now is a really good time to get started with that. We also have a vegetable garden, and we harvest the veggies usually on Wednesday mornings. And last year, we harvested over 1,700 pounds of vegetables, and we donated it to Seeds That Feed. And they give the produce to food banks so they can distribute the produce. Okay, what do we have up next? Next, make sure it matches. All right, we also have education. One of our goals at the garden is to educate the next generation about nature and plants and preserving the environment. So we do that through field trips. We have summer camps. We also even have a preschool program. So if you like to work with children, if you like to be around children, this might be a good opportunity for you to volunteer. Again, training provided, just you don't have to know the parts of a butterfly, we can teach you. But this is one area that we're also looking for volunteers. That's a picture of our preschool program that we have on Wednesday mornings from May to October. So that's something you could help with. We also have a program called Garden Buds, which is just in the summer for elementary kids. Again, teaching them about nature and giving them experiences in the garden so that they are inspired to become gardeners and preserve the environment. We have a lot of different classes at the garden where we teach people about gardening. We teach them about nature. We even have, forest therapy walks and crystal classes, learning about rocks and things like that. So we're looking for class ambassadors. This would just be an indoor opportunity for you to introduce the teacher, help the teacher with any materials or things that they need during the class. And then you could also sit and observe the class for free and learn about whatever the topic is. We also have community outreach under our education umbrella. This would involve going out into the community and promoting the garden. For example, we have a booth coming up at Crystal Bridges. We sometimes go to elementary schools to promote the garden and to teach kids about butterflies, caterpillars, plants, things like that. Another thing that you can get involved in, these are kind of our smaller involvement projects. We do recycle at the garden, and so Sometimes we need people to help with recycling, or at events, help them divert the food waste. We're really interested, we work with Food Loops so that we compost any extra food from our events. Okay, next one is the Butterfly House. We have Arkansas's only native butterfly house, and the butterflies will start appearing. And we need volunteers to take care of the butterflies and make sure that little kids don't stomp on them or their eggs. And we have volunteers that go daily to maintain the butterfly house and also educate the kids about the life cycle of a butterfly. Operations and facilities, we do have volunteers that help with mowing and leaf blowing and anything that is outside of, planting and mulching, things like that. And the last category that you can get involved in is with event hospitality. We have events at the garden throughout the year, and we need volunteers to help us. We need volunteers to help greet people at the gate, to scan their tickets, to guide them to where they need to go, all kinds of things. Sometimes they roll silverware before an event, just making people feel welcome at the garden. And you also get to enjoy this beautiful setting and enjoy a fun event at the garden. There's a couple of our volunteers. They dressed up as Santa and Mrs. Claus. We have a Jingle Bell Jog every year, and so those are two of our volunteers at the Jingle Bell Jog. Okay. So those are the different areas that you can get involved in. Does anyone have a question about volunteering? Yes. Yes, yes. Membership in the garden, I will tell you, get in now because I believe they're changing the pricing April 1st. So, hot tip. Yes. Yes. Yes, we're having an orchid show at the garden. If you're interested in that, you can get your tickets online. I believe even if you're a member, you still have to pay the admission for the orchid show. We also have volunteers helping with the orchid show, so it's another opportunity. I am going to leave these flyers and some business cards. So if you decide that you would like to get involved as a volunteer or even have questions about membership or anything about the garden, you can reach out to me and I will be happy to help you. Okay? Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having me. And it was great to be here. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I have a little walking group, and about 3 times a week in the morning, we park at the Botanical Gardens and go around the lake on the trail. So in addition to the gardens, the trail's a really good option for us in Fayetteville. Next Friday, I think we will reconvene, and hopefully I'll have some more information to give you about your next CEO. Keep my fingers crossed. And we'll have a few more updates on the projects. So any questions, comments? Doug, do you have anything to add from the council?
Not from the council, but you can bike to the gardens relatively safely.
But that's true. You can.
On the trail.
Just go right up to through Veterans Park, right? Okay. Well, thank you all very much then.